Hey everyone, welcome to video 3 for this week on context for Beowulf. And by context, I mean historical context. How can we learn something about the historical moment in which a text is produced? And how can that help us to better understand the narrative we're working with? That's what we'll be doing in this video. Okay, moving my head. Brace yourselves. Okay, so as I've kind of alluded to in some of the previous videos, in this Old English period of history, England is an island made up of many tribes. So again, this is post the Roman departure from England. And so in England, we have lots of different tribes and cultures. We have the native Britons. They're native to the island. And we also have, I guess we could call them invaders from throughout Europe. The Angles, the Saxons, the Jutes, and the Danes. All of these tribes are kind of intermingling in England. But for the most part, all of their languages have a Germanic origin. So you can kind of see these different Germanic languages mapped out in this larger Northern European, Scandinavian region. So rather than thinking of all these places as distinct nations, as we might today, it's a lot looser in this time period. We just have a kind of broad seafaring region where a lot of similar languages are spoken. So there's a kind of connectivity between all of these cultures and their interconnectedness through the sea in particular. So when it comes to the cultural mores that we find in Beowulf, I think there are two primary things you want to pay attention to. The first is this kind of seafaring warrior codes of honor. There's a lot of interest in blood vengeance and blood feud in these narratives. And we could put that another way as like an eye for an eye. You know, if you kill someone, they have a right to either kill you or someone close to you, or to exact the Wehrgilt, which is the man price. You know, if they don't kill you, they have a right to a certain amount of money that you owe them because you killed someone in their family. So there is this kind of trade that happens in a military martial context. And you'll see that in Beowulf, where we have Grendel kills a lot of people. Beowulf kills Grendel. Grendel's mother comes back and kills someone close to Hrothgar. Beowulf goes to kill Grendel's mother. So there's this kind of one-for-one back and forth that we see in the story that has a lot to do with these martial codes of honor in Old English culture. The other thing that you'll see is a lot of interest in Christian ideals. In the time period in which Beowulf is written down, Christianity has been spread throughout England. So there's also Christian ideas that primarily involve God's control over everything. God seems to favor Beowulf. He seems to dislike Grendel because of his descent from Cain. Is that the right word? He kind of comes from Cain. God is very much the hero of the story, and God values heroes and their noble actions. So there are Christian ideals too, as long as they kind of work well with this theme of blood vengeance. You know, there's not a lot of like forgiveness in this narrative. It's more about, you know, being the good Christian hero. All right, I think that's everything for the historical context video. The next video I'll move on to is the themes video, where I discuss some of the main themes and interpretive questions that you should keep an eye out for in this text.